Hey guys, welcome to React Studios.
I'm Austin.
I'm Daniel.
And today is our third birthday here at React Studios, and we decided we were going to put out a little video telling you guys how we got our start and then how we got to where we are today. Not that we're some great high and mighty deal, but
we're
we figured,
okay. And
yeah, we figured we'd tell you guys,
would be
how we got to where we are and just different things about us that have happened over the past 3 years. Instead of just doing a montage about upcoming stuff and then just using videos that we've already done in the past, we figured we'd tell you guys a little bit about where we came from and then kind of like some future goals of like, okay, this is where we want to be, what we want to do.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so let's start. Let's go back in time. Some of you guys will get that. But we started way back when we were like 4 or 5, that general age, with this little camera that you look through this and you just kind of like pan around, shoot.
It was pretty awful.
Yeah, it was
and
really
it
bad.
60 seconds at a time. So we made these little weird superhero movies and
fake
blooper
bloopers.
Reels, and it was pretty awful.
Yeah,
but
it was really bad.
It was pretty much our start. And we'd always enjoyed, watching movies and then seeing how movies were made, and we were just, all that stuff was like bigger than life to us. So that's pretty much why we got involved in that. And it was just, I don't know. It just clicked once we got it. And then for a while, I guess it kind of toned down and we were more of like the gamer type. And then,
we picked back up.
We were sitting out there on the back porch after swimming. We were like, you know what? We should probably get into video again. It'd be pretty cool. So
yeah. So on August 8th, 2008, we started thinking about how to get back into video, and then like a couple days later, we released our first episode of our hit show VCP.
That's a very lenient term there.
Yeah, it was awful. It was really bad.
But the whole idea of the show, I mean, it was a pretty decent idea in my opinion, because obviously we came up with it.
Right.
But it was viewer-controlled podcast, and the idea was all of the viewers would send in their ideas of what they want to see on the show, and then we would put it in the next episode. Now, I thought it was a pretty cool idea, but
and it was.
One thing that we just lacked experience in was, number 1, camera presence, number 2, being on the internet, and number 3...
an audience.
Yeah, an audience. So that didn't go over too well. We did it for probably
20 episodes.
And so after then, we had become involved in Little Big Podcast so much that we decided, okay, we have an audience here, we have something going on here, let's kind of push that off to the side.
Right, so back up to episode 12 of VCP. It was November 16th, and we were like, okay, so this new game came out, Little Big Planet, and
it looked pretty huge. We were pretty excited about it, and no one else had even picked up a podcast about it. We were thinking, this could be our shot. So we decided to go out there with a Little Big Podcast.
And what we did was we just started covering levels. We started covering news. Basically what we do now on a much less
impressive scale.
Yeah, it was really bad. But we started, and that's what mattered. We started going, and we haven't stopped. I mean, we've never missed like more than 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, and when we got started with that,
it was really not good. I mean, the quality was bad. The idea was good. We had what we needed to do a good job. We just weren't doing a good job.
So we had the brilliant idea, okay, let's start it up. And so once we got going, it was only a matter of time before we got discovered a little bit. And
we started getting an audience.
As awful as a job as we were doing, somehow we were still picking up people that liked it and wanted to watch it. And then, of course, we picked up the obligatory haters who hated us extremely bad. And that's when we got our first taste of the real internet, just how much people really dislike.
They didn't like us. Yeah. I mean, that's how it works. So
I think that's one thing that kind of got us to where we are today as well with Little Big Podcast. If it weren't for the fact that we were like, okay, whatever, it hurts. It's it's our content and they're like totally dissing us. But like at the same time, it was almost like okay, well we're doing something right.
Right.
So we pretty much just went on with it, regardless of what people said, and that's pretty much how we got to where we are today. Because honestly, we would not still be doing the show if we would have. I was ready to quit after the first 3 weeks of it. I'm like, you know what? People hate us. I don't care if we have 2 or 3 people that like us. We have a lot of people that hate us.
So then we started picking up an audience, and we did have a lot more people that liked us at that point. And we got in touch, or actually, we got this random email from this person at a marketing company we'd never heard of. It was like Big Sky. And I'm like, okay. So they called us, and all of a sudden we were shocked to find out that there was somebody from PlayStation on the phone with us as well. That was one of their marketing companies. And we were like, okay. And the people at PlayStation, they just kind of almost took us under their wing, and they're like, all right, we're going to help you guys get out there and get better. And
yeah, so that's pretty much where that started. And I want to say that was March of 2009.
Yeah, it was March 2009.
So that's pretty much when we got our start connected with PlayStation, and then shortly after, Media Molecule, the game's developer for Little Big Planet.
Right, and we got this email, keep up the good work, and I'm like, whoa, they're watching us.
So that show pretty much took off from there. And that's where that is today, 132 episodes later.
Right, and almost 650,000 views or something like that later.
Little Big Podcast was incredibly successful, and that's definitely our biggest endeavor right now.
Yeah, that's like our flagship.
And, you know, after months and months and months of voice changing and stature changing,
we've
and
actually gotten to the point
stuff
that we are consistently doing a decent job.
So I'm pretty happy with where Little Big Podcast is now. You know, we've revamped our graphics recently. We've done lots of stuff to keep viewers interested. And honestly, Little Big Planet is a game that just really lends itself to being podcasted with.
It never runs out of content, and there's always something new that's going to happen. Even if, I mean, like, once the game support is long gone, there's still going to be levels out there, and people are still going to want to see them. So that show, I mean, it really has quite the future. It's just we got to figure out how to do it when he goes to college. Other than that, we got pretty steady in the future.
So I guess probably May 2010, we started off with Mod Nation Podcast. Now, Mod Nation Racers was a new genre of kart racing game that almost took on, it was like basically Little Big Planet on karts. And we were like, okay, we can't miss this one either. So we decided to start up Mod Nation Podcast. Now, unfortunately, that one didn't go over too well. And I think it was because partially the game didn't go over too well.
Well, the game was good. The overall idea of the game was great, but when people got the tools, they used them almost like, I don't know, it just seemed like the only levels that came out, the only tracks that came out were awful. They were like terrible, do donuts forever kind of tracks.
As cool as the game was, I do have to admit, like, Little Big Planet just still had that charm and still had the lovability of Saturday and stuff.
And it was more just, than this
it
mod
just seemed like a classic. Yeah,
it was just perfect.
We kind of, went away from Mod Nation Podcast after about 5 episodes, and we were like, okay, well, this is cool and all, but I just think, and it was also taking away our time from Little Big Podcast, and we were like, okay, we can't do this anymore. We need to start shooting with Little Big Podcast. So we decided to do that, and that's pretty much how we got past that. Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, looking back, I almost wish we would have kept doing it, but it's really good that we did focus our efforts because now we actually have one good product that's, like, really polished.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. You have to, like, narrow down, like, okay, what's important here, what's less important, and Little Big Podcast was something we really had to focus on at that point, so we decided to go on with that.
All right, now, some of the little changes that you guys might have noticed in there, we started out editing on Roxio. It was pathetic, really. It was just like your average consumer product, and it was
pretty awful.
It was presets.
It did the job.
That was it.
But it was presets. So once we, I guess, like, pretty much all of our money went towards video stuff from that point on.
People say, how do you afford to get this equipment? And honestly, every single penny that we earned, we spent on
birthday money, Christmas money, just doing odd jobs and stuff and earning money. All of that just went in. We were like, okay, we would find something, we'd be like, this is what we need next, and then we'd save up for it and eventually get it. So that's pretty much how we've upgraded in video products. And then, of course, our parents have helped us out in different things. I know a couple of years we've gotten a Christmas present between the both of us. Like the camera that you're looking through right now, that Canon T2i that we have, that was our only Christmas present for this past year between the two of us to share.
And we loved it. I mean, we were like, we want
but
this.
Like, that's pretty much how we do our video stuff. Like,
and then second camera angle, we got that the year before that, and then
so we pretty much are just like, okay, we're video focused. All of this stuff really is just like stuff to help us out even more with videos. So
So basically, anytime we got any kind of money at all, we would just put it in video. And that applies even with, like, more recently where we got one job. Well, we'll talk about that later. But anyway, all of our money goes into video production and stuff for it.
The gear really just helps out with all of this, honestly, because I mean, the more gear you're able to get, the better quality your videos will be, the more people that will be inclined to watch, and the more time you spend with it, the better obviously you get with it. So that's pretty much where our attention has been, and it's just, I don't know, video's just been always fun and exciting for me. So just all of this has just been like, okay, let's go for it.
Yeah, like, we've never had, I mean, a serious period of time where we were like, maybe that was just a hobby. I mean, it's more than a hobby for us. It's like I don't know. We just want to do it. It's something that it's a career even. I mean, there's stuff that you can do as a career in video.
So it's just a blast, and we've had loads of fun with it. So I guess, like we going back to our timeline here, we've, gone past Mod Nation podcast, probably about September-ish of 2010. We started getting excited about rumors of a sequel, and we were like, okay, could this happen? Maybe. And so we were excited about Little Big Planet 2.
Yeah, and our views seriously started picking up. Like, there were weeks that we'd have 5,000 views or something like that.
Got pretty crazy.
Yeah, it seriously started getting almost scary how many views we were getting, and we were actually pretty decent at that amount, or in that period.
I wouldn't say we were the best, but we were definitely really. I mean, compared to today, we were not that great, but compared to then, I thought we were doing pretty good, and so we were able to pick up a bigger audience. People were getting excited about the second game, and then we picked up our second year birthday for Little Big Podcast, and we were able to interview some people from Media Molecule, the game's developer. And then in January, when the game launched, we
skipped something. Hold on. It's somewhere in that amount of time, in September, October time, we got in touch with Sony, and Sony said, well, we want you guys to make an exclusive content set for PlayStation Home. And that's when talks of that started.
Yeah, that's pretty much when we freaked out. We were like, whoa, hold on. You want us to make videos to go into PlayStation Home? So
it was really cool.
We went through lots of talks, lots of different discussions. And then finally in January, for the game's launch, we were able to announce that we were ready to put videos into the PlayStation Home Community Theater, which has been crazy. Just the fact that, you walk into a video game, you go into the theater, and then there's us like on a fake... Well, I mean, a movie theater screen up there, and it's just like, whoa,
wow.
This is pretty weird.
Yeah.
So that was a blast. And then in January, during the launch event, we were actually invited by Sony to come up to New York City where they were doing a launch event and a world record event, and they had us there hosting and doing some stuff on a live stream. And
that was the craziest week.
That was probably one of the best weeks of my life, just because it was awesome. It was like instead of having to worry about doing all this video work, we had a film crew following us around, and it was just like, it was mind blowing, and it was really weird. We kind of got the celebrity treatment for a couple days. But honestly, it was a bit nerve-wracking. I did not do the best that I could have done, just because it was like overwhelming, having the pressure of being live, and then having the pressure of, all these people surrounding you and just getting ready
and
to do
a lot
stuff.
of people,
it was crazy.
We posted some of those videos we did there online, and people are like, wow, you guys look so nervous. Yeah. There was even one where people thought I was nervous because I was talking to a girl. It was more like, no, I was nervous because we were live in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people at once, and there were no redos.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about here. Like, if you notice any cuts, it's because, we were able to sit here and go, chop, okay, didn't like that, and just cut past it. But during live, there were no
cuts.
Redos.
There was no.
If you messed something up and you stalled out, you're like, what do we talk about next? You had to think on your feet really fast.
Yeah,
so
it was bad.
It was a blast, and I would do it again if I had the opportunity to, more than gladly, because I would like to best our last time doing it. And it was just a blast. So that was probably the highlight of our video career recently, I think, is just the fact that we were actually able to go out and host and be like a part of something that big, instead of just like going there and hiding behind the tape and doing our little job. I mean, we were out there, behind everything. So
all right, now
cool.
In the end of February, there was a tragic disaster over in Japan. There was a tsunami that wiped out loads of stuff, and we were like, man, this is bad. And then we were like, how can we help? I mean, there was nothing that we could really do. It's not like we could go there and help out. But we were thinking, we have an audience. We have this game that has endless possibilities. And we had just been to a marathon where they played for 60 hours. And we're like, what if we live stream?
Like a light bulb just came out.
Yeah, bing. And then we were like, let's live stream for, however long. And raise money.
That was one of the craziest things I think we've ever done. We were actually on a trip to New Jersey to go see our grandparents. So we drove all the way we woke up that morning probably about 7 o'clock.
So
maybe
New
earlier.
Jersey to North Carolina.
Yeah, so I drove all the way from New Jersey to North Carolina, which is about 7 7.5 hours, something like that.
Several hours.
And we got here, so I was already exhausted from the drive. We got here, we had ordered a bunch of gear right before we left for New Jersey, and
we started.
It was this microphone here and a bunch of other stuff that we had that we needed for the live stream. So we had all that ready, and it was on our front porch, and we went in, we unboxed it all, we tried to figure it all out, we pieced it all together.
Okay, so it was about 10 p.m., it was getting down to the wire, and we had to deliver.
Yeah, we were cutting pretty close, and we were ready to go. Our audience was already on the live stream going, oh, where are they? And so we were really getting down. We got our microphone all turned on. We ran upstairs, turned everything on, and for 24 hours we played Little Big Planet 2, raising money for the Red Cross and then Baptist World Mission, both really great organizations. And we actually
awesome.
We didn't keep track of the amount of money that we've raised just because we didn't want to sit here and go, yeah, we raised $5,000.
But we had people writing in constantly.
Right.
They're like, I just donated $50. You guys rock. And I'm like, are you serious? That's cool.
We don't know the actual numbers. We know we did a pretty decent job, and we just wanted to help out.
We had thousands of people on at one point, and we were so tired. We were getting mentioned by PlayStation Blog, Astro Gaming, a couple other really cool people out there, and we basically didn't care. We were like,
we were wasted. There was one point where we both can attest to this. We were sitting there playing one of the levels,
and we
were sitting there, and we just like stopped. And our mom, who was watching most of it at that point, had to like,
she's like, guys,
because like we were just like so like zoned out of it, because not only had we been gaming for 24 hours straight, but we had also been awake for over 40 hours at that point. So we were starting to get a little like crazy, and like at one point all you could see was the TV, and like I couldn't see like any
it was
of
so
the
weird.
other room.
Like, let's say that this is a TV. Everything but this would be black and white with lines. It was just like line drawings, basically.
Pretty weird.
And then that was color and fine.
So
I was
we
like,
were out of it,
I'm almost dead.
That was a big, huge, awesome thing.
Yeah, that was one of like Austin said the event that we did in New York was pretty big, but this was actually for like a cause that we knew.
Right.
So honestly, I'd say that this was our biggest event in history. Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. Both of them
I
were
would
awesome,
like to do it again. We're running out of time this summer to do it, but I had a blast.
We'll try it sometime. So yeah, and then finally, like our next big event in our calendar was actually very recently. We actually got a freelance job with this awesome guy. His name's Andrew Garcia, and it was just a privilege to be able to do that because like we were working with somebody who does this professionally,
right?
And he saw our stuff. He's like, well, if they can do that, then they can help me out some.
So we helped him out, and that was our first kind of freelance job that we did.
Really,
we have
really
gotten
fun.
paid for a few other videos that we've done, but I guess now that we can kind of branch over to more of like React Studios officially now.
Yeah.
Our first video ever on the channel was a video for HP's You on You contest, which is one way that we tried to win money.
Yeah.
And so we actually did do pretty well in that contest. We came, what was it, 64 well, we were in the top 100.
Yeah, we were
like
in the top 100.
in the top 100, and
there were like 45,000 entries.
Yeah,
so we did pretty already.
We did decent, and we actually won a laptop out of that contest, which just died. So
now it's more of a trophy than a laptop.
It was good for the 2 years that it worked, but it overheated and killed itself. But yeah, it was a great way to get started. That's pretty much how we've earned money for our videos now and then. We've never made any money off of like
our weekly
advertisements
stuff,
or any weekly stuff that we've done. All the money that we've earned has been off of either our freelance job and then different video contests that we've done.
Right.
So that's pretty much how we've gotten a lot of our videos done. If you'll notice, some of our videos on our channel are like, why in the world do they have videos up here about the Bill of Rights and amendments and stuff? Well, not that we really care that much about it. It's just the fact that we were entering in a very little known contest. So we won $1,500 from another contest, and then we've entered countless others. And so that's pretty much how we've tried to earn our way.
And I mean, it's cool. I mean, I would definitely recommend that if you're getting into video. But honestly, it's not going to be like a living or anything. No. You're not going to win them all. You can win some, but not all of them. So I think that's a famous quote or something.
Yeah,
but
that was pretty fun. And then we eventually started going off with Dear PlayStation commercial spoofs.
Right. Now, these actually shockingly, they were one of our most popular videos of all time, really. Because, I mean, what we did was we made this spoof. Nobody had done it before us. And we just did this spoof of a Dear PlayStation commercial. We replaced Austin with one of the people from the actual commercial, and we made it work. And we got a mention on the PlayStation blog. They posted it on the PlayStation blog, and it's still up there. It got thousands.
We have like over 10,000 views on I think both of the ones that we've done on React Studios, and then
they reposted them on theirs.
Yeah, they reposted them on their Vidler channel. So we had, I want to say we had another 12,000 views off of just their Vidler stuff, not counting to our account.
So really, that was one of our most popular videos in our history.
Really.
So like, it was really fun to do too, because then. We kind of got in touch
back then was awful.
Yeah,
but we actually what you were about to say. We got in touch with the writers of the commercial and the actor and stuff. So
yeah, it was
got
just
pretty
a lot
cool.
of fun.
And we got a signed poster out of the deal, and
it was really cool. Yeah. But that was like kind of one of our earlier projects, and then we started doing.
That type of thing was easy to do because it was just something that we could spoof. Like we didn't have to come up with the original
format. So yeah,
all we had to do was go, I see what they did there. Let's come up with something funny. And replace it.
Or just even different. So we did that, and then we started doing this chins thing. And we actually did one recently, which it probably won't surface. But basically, you do that, you cover that, and then you flip it upside down, put some eyes there. And it's just funny. I mean, it works.
So we did a few music videos for
OK
Go songs, and we actually got reposted by the band, I think on Twitter, and then as a video response to a few of their videos and favorited and stuff. So
yeah, it was really cool. And honestly, like, we've never been in touch with like the actual people, I don't think, but they might have seen it, and it was just a lot of fun to be able to, like, you know.
Well, it just looks incredibly stupid, but
it
was a lot of fun. So then we ended up doing a commercial for, I forget, I think it was LG cell phones, and we decided to do this thing about don't text and walk across the road. So we went out in front of our house, and we decided, we shot a few scenes upstairs and a little narrative and stuff like that, and then we went outside. And thanks to Video Copilot, who has been a huge influence in our After Effects learning.
No, you gotta say Video Copilot.
Video Copilot. So we decided to do a car hit in the commercial. Like, okay, don't text while distracted. So we're going to have me walk across the road and then
boom,
get hit by
a car.
So that was pretty technical. We actually originally had planned that I was going to get hit by the van that I was driving, just as like a little Easter egg in the video. But at that point in our VFX work, we were not advanced enough to do everything just right. So what we ended up doing was I did it right across the road, and then as soon as I had gotten clear, my mom actually drove the van through the shot so we could just rotoscope. And instead of rotoscoping me, which took forever, we just rotoscoped the van. So we just had like me move. It was
it was quite noobish.
I mean, it looked okay, I thought, but it wasn't the best way we could have done it. So
right. So that was kind of our first VFX project. I mean, we've never really done VFX before that, and that was our first, like, okay, let's actually do something cool. So then right after we did that, we did this
another thing for Klondike.
Yeah, Klondike had a video contest, and we did this thing. They were, it was like, you got to catch a ping pong ball in a plastic cup.
The craziest way to catch a ping pong ball in a plastic cup.
So we had this cannon looking thing, and we had it fire and shoot the ping pong ball up in the air, fly forever, and then Austin dove and caught it in the cup.
Yeah, part of that inspiration was those crazy basketball shots videos, which we all know are mostly faked.
Mostly. And it just seemed like, that's a pretty decent idea. It'll catch on, and it kind of did. I mean,
it was funny, and some people believed it. Some people were like, this is fake, and we're like, no, really? But anyway, so that was a blast to shoot. We had our friend Michael come over and help us with that one.
Yeah.
Since I think part of the reason was you had to be 21 to enter the contest, and our friend was 21, so we were like, okay, maybe we can get this to work. But technically, since we entered, we got disqualified for it.
Yeah, something stupid like that. And also, the deadline was at lunch instead of midnight.
That's what it was. Never mind, we didn't get disqualified. We had the video done, and then we look, and the video was due at lunchtime, like 11:59 a.m. It was due, and we were like, what?
Yeah.
So we were like, we totally devastated.
Yeah.
So
and then our next big VFX project was we used this software that we didn't know we had. It was called Mocha, and it tracks a texture. So it would track everything in the shot. So what we did was we used that in a Video Copilot tutorial, and we had something explode behind Austin. And
that was pretty much an exact copycat of the tutorial. I mean, we basically
put our own
upload
twist,
we upload most of these things just as we did it, and then why keep it on our computer? Let's just upload it for people to see anyway.
And we did that, and it looked all right. But one of the coolest things to do with it was to turn off the actual video layer, and there was all this augmented stuff that would move
so
just like the camera motion. So that was really cool. And that was actually when we first started doing explosions and stuff. That was our first experience with that.
So then we moved on, and we went down a bike trail in our local park here, or one of our local parks, and we saw this really cool thing. We had our camera with us. We're like, okay, let's shoot a quick action video. So I ran down the side of this rocky face, and then we went back in and VFX'd in some bullet hits and different things like that. So
and it looked cool.
Yeah, it was a test, and it wasn't the coolest thing we could have done, but it was still a lot of fun. And some people are like, and even I look at that and think, wow, that looked really dumb. Why was I running down the hill like that? But then when I went back there a couple weeks ago, I'm like, oh yeah, because it is a lot steeper than it looks on the camera. So I was going down it a little bit slower than, on camera it looks like I'm just like slowly making my way down it at certain points. But it's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's a lot steeper. We had the camera angled up, so you couldn't really tell, but it's pretty steep.
And then we went to a museum on a field trip.
Oh man, that was the story.
It was the field trip was so boring that we went through the museum twice.
And we went through it once, and we were forced to go through it a second time. We had our camera with us, and we're like, wait a second, why don't we use the second time going through to make a video? Because, they had this one area that was themed decently. So we thought, okay, let's
make a video. So it was basically set in kind of like Nazi Germany. And we were like, okay, let's make a first-person shooter video. And one of our big other video people that we follow is Freddie Wong.
Yeah.
And we had saw that they did a future FPS kind of thing. So we were like, okay, let's give this a shot.
Right, and then I had also gotten in touch with the guy at EA. And he was really nice, and I was like, okay, so maybe if we do this, we can get a post on EA and get some publicity that way. Well, we took the Medal of Honor game and basically used its UI. So that was one of our, I don't know, it was sort of an action video. It was sort of a VFX video, and it was sort of a video game video. So it was just a combination of all of them, a fusion of it, and it went over pretty well.
Yeah, I thought so too. So that was pretty cool. And then we moved on to do a few other VFX projects, like our future car thing, and then we moved on and started recording some music after we got our microphone. Some of our talented friends can sing.
Yeah.
So we decided to do some videos. Then we recently recorded a music video for a friend for his cover of Secrets. And you can see that on our YouTube channel. And that was a lot of fun. That was our first experience with shooting a music video, so that was a little different. A little bit of fun, and we have instead of just explaining it here, you can just go watch our behind-the-scenes video.
Yeah, you really can, but it was quite funny.
Crazy.
Alright, and then one of our final and most recent videos is King's Dominion. We went there, it's a theme park nearby, and we used our glide cam and got some really cinematic looking shots. It was a lot of fun, really.
Yeah, and that's probably the best job we've done on something cinematically.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of fun. I enjoy roller coasters. We went to the park, we had our camera with us. We're like, okay, let's do this. I decided to bring in our glide cam and got some pretty strange looks walking around the park with it, but it was a blast. Got some great video, and it was more of just a test. Like, if you'll notice, we shot a lot of the same rides, used a lot of the same similar looking shots, and it's just because, those three, they're the rides that I feature were mostly like the best rides in the park that I like to ride, and then there are some other rides that aren't so great to ride, but maybe they would have worked on camera, so I need to go back and get those pretty soon here, so we're going to go ahead and do that at some point.
Alright, so basically, we are going to finish it up with some crazy statistics. So, Austin, if you want to go ahead and kick that off.
Okay, so over the past 3 years, we've released over 200 videos to the internet. So that's a pretty impressive number. And then we've had over 66 and a half hours of footage.
Right, so that's a lot of footage. That's almost 3 days solid of footage.
So over all of those videos, we've had over 1,090,000 views.
Right, and then total that up with the amount of video, or the hours and the views, and you'll come up with 72,539,000
work
views.
hours. So
work hours, yeah.
The equivalent of man work hours. That's how many 72 million and a half work hours have been spent watching our videos. So then we've decided to do something a little fun, and we threw in the average hourly wage factor of America, and that's $19.50 an hour. So we multiplied that by the work hours number, and we came out with $1,414,520,251.73. So we've cost the world that much money.
Sorry, world.
So by watching our videos, you've lost the world $1.5 billion.
Right, and that's like a decent chunk of the
we're
national
pretty,
debt.
Even though we're fairly small in comparison to a lot of other YouTube things going on, we're pretty expensive.
Yeah, we're expensive.
So anyway, sorry to waste any more of your time. Thanks for tuning in to our story. And we're looking to pretty big things coming up here ahead. We just picked up some new gear. Lots of cool stuff going on. Of course, I'm about to head off to college. So
4 videos.
It'll slow down a little bit during then. But obviously, I'm going off to college for video stuff, so it won't slow down at all. And I'll be back with more stuff. Daniel will keep doing stuff here. I'll keep doing stuff where I am, and we'll collaborate and make cool stuff happen still.
Yeah.
So don't expect this to be the end of Little Big Podcast or React Studios or any of our other projects going on right now.
It's just the beginning of a new
chapter.
Chapter of React Studios. So basically, that's all we have. That's our story, and that's where we're headed.
Right. So obviously, we have a lot more things we could throw in, but our battery time permits, our recording time permits, and your time permits. So we're just going to have to save that for maybe next year. So thanks for being an awesome viewer. For those of you who may not even ever see this video, you guys have all been awesome. And if it weren't for you, there would be no point in us putting this out on the internet because it would just be like awful.
Yeah. But so
you guys make it all work.
You guys are awesome. And can't wait to see what the next 3 years will bring.
All right. So I guess we will see you guys later. Be sure to keep it tuned to reactstudios.com for future projects. Also follow us on Twitter at React Studios, where we'll be updating you, of course, like when we get new gear, little test videos, and then of course our big, official look at this is actually a polished videos.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. And then our regular weekly podcast all about Little Big Planet, which is kind of our crown jewel here, littlebigpodcast.com. Check that out every Friday for brand new update videos. And I think that's pretty much all the shameless self-promotion that we have for you guys today. So
all right, so thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching all the way through if you did, and I guess we'll see you next year.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.